Joining me now, California Congresswoman Sara Jacobs. She's a member of the House Democratic Steering and Policy Committee and the Foreign Affairs and Armed Services Committee. Congresswoman Jacobs, welcome to the Sunday show. As you well know, the NDAA has historically been a must-pass bill, but this time around, it was larded with culture war MAGA agenda amendments. Your thoughts on your colleagues' actions?
Look, I'm incredibly disappointed in how the NDAA turned out with the horrible things they put around gender-affirming care, around trans rights, around abortion access for service members. You know, the reason the United States is so powerful is because we can build these international coalitions, and that's because we live up to our values and we have values that people around the world share. And every time we pass bills like this, where we're putting in things that are against our values, it makes it that much harder to build those international coalitions and to call out bad actors. For instance, I had a bipartisan amendment on banning cluster munitions in every country because these are terrible weapons who maim and kill children. The extreme MAGA Republicans decided to take that bipartisan amendment and make it just about Ukraine to feed into their narrative that we shouldn't be supporting the Ukrainians. And we saw them do this on issue after issue after issue. And, you know, I think there's going to be really far-reaching consequences.
Yeah, far-reaching consequences. But what recourse? Now that it's passed out of the House, there's nothing that you and your Democratic colleagues can do. But once the Senate does its job and the conference committee happens, what can Democrats do in order to blunt some of the harshness that's in the NDAA right now?
Yeah, we're working closely with our colleagues in the Senate to try and make sure that the very worst of the provisions don't make it into the final version, and that some of the good things that we had in the committee version, which was passed in a bipartisan way through the committee, ends up making it in. And, you know, I think at the end of the day, Kevin McCarthy has seen that if he wants to load this up with these extreme right wish list, he will not be getting Democratic votes. And I doubt he'll be able to pass the conference version of the bill with just Republicans. So, you know, we'll have to see what he does. But we've already seen that he is so beholden to the extreme right wing of his party that I'm not hopeful.
Congresswoman, what are Republicans going to do to reconcile their MAGA agenda and the potential impact on national security? Do they even care?
You know, it's a great question because I have been asking myself that too, right? Not only the national security things that we need to pass in the NDAA, but even some of these really extreme things they put in the bill are harmful to our national security. We're already having a recruitment and retention issue in our military. And I cannot imagine any woman or family who might have a transgender child opting to join our military. Now, why would you do that when you're going to have less rights than you would as a civilian? And, you know, I'm very concerned about what that's going to mean for our military moving forward. You know, Republicans are politicizing our military, the thing they like to accuse us of doing. I represent the biggest military community in the country, San Diego. We are very proud to be a military community, but we also know the consequences of war, and my community is the one who is bearing the cost of this. And I can tell you, when service members and military families are calling me, they're not calling me about drag shows. They're not calling me about culture war issues. They're calling me about the need for housing, about the pay raises that they need, about the child care they can't find or afford. These are the things we should be addressing in the NDAA.
California Congresswoman Sara Jacobs, thank you very much for coming to the Sunday show.